I deleted Instagram 4 days ago, and I don't know if I'll ever re-download it. It feels good to be free from the endless abyss of mind-numbing content. My reason for deleting Instagram was because I started to feel like a shell of a human being. Back in 2020, I decided to pursue my dream of becoming a full-time content creator. And to make my dream become a reality, I made it a habit to post every single day. It didn't take long before I developed this drive to fulfill this need of mine to feel important. And to satisfy that need, I would create viral-worthy content. My days became consumed by trends. I would wake up and spend hours on my feed looking for trends to recreate. Then I would spend hours recreating the trend, and then I would post the trend and then spend hours waiting for the external validation of all of these strangers to come pouring in, telling me that I did a good job. I became hooked to the external validation of all of these people I didn't know. I was constantly waiting for that next hit of dopamine. I was completely addicted to social media. Fast forward to 2022. I just finished a 5-month social media detox, and I think I understand how to approach social media in a healthy way. I start a brand new Instagram account that's in the self-improvement niche. I post every single day, but only in my niche. I don't participate in any trends, and I don't follow anyone I know, not my friends, not people from high school. I only follow people who inspire me. And with that, I think I'm doing everything right to prevent social media addiction and burnout. Well, fast forward to 2024. I burn out on January 1st. See, I didn't want to accept the fact that I had fallen back into toxic patterns and bad habits, so I continued to push away the thought of me possibly being burnt out, and I continued to post every single day. I started recreating my past viral reels, thinking that they would go viral again. And I started simplifying my content to make posting every day more manageable. Well, guess what? It didn't work. My views were plummeting. My engagement was dropping tremendously, and my community was no longer engaged with me. And on top of all of that, I started comparing myself to other creators, which was making me feel jealous and resentful and frustrated. Now, fast forward to 4 days ago. I'm done. I'm tired of feeling like I'm running on the spot. And for what? For views? For more followers? Yes, my content was helpful. It was valuable. It was motivating. It was inspiring people to be better for such a short amount of time. It wasn't helping people in any long-term type of way. It wasn't helping myself in any long-term type of way. It didn't even align with my long-term plan. I've been feeling this for a while, but I feel like I'm capable of so much more than just creating viral reels. I truly do not think that I was placed on this earth to create a myriad of fleeting, motivational, short-form videos. I believe that my purpose is to open up people's minds and their hearts to hope, self-worth, forgiveness, compassion, and so much more. And I can't achieve that or begin to understand how to achieve that by chasing virality. Enough was enough. I had to get rid of all of my distractions and content that could potentially influence me to stray away from myself. So I deleted Instagram, and here's what I've realized since. Social media makes us selfish and fake. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I think it's rare that we see someone comment on someone's post and give a compliment and not expect anything in return. From my point of view, it always seemed like everyone was dropping compliments on other people's posts so that they would then drop a compliment under their post. Also, from a content creator point of view, it would rub me the wrong way hearing other people talk about how they set timers for like 10 minutes a day so that they can go on other people's posts, so that they can go through their Reels feed and Explore feed and find posts that are in their niche and then comment on them by leaving a compliment, so that the algorithm becomes trained to understand what niche they're in. Does that make sense? So if a content creator looked at their video and they saw all of these compliments from all these other content creators, I think they would be sad to know that they didn't leave those comments there because they genuinely liked their video. No, people left those comments there because they're trying to train their algorithm to understand who their target audience is, so that their videos can be pushed out to more people so that they can get more views and more followers. I get it. That's how a lot of Instagram content creators grow. And I guess it's a nice strategy when you're leaving compliments under other people's videos. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking into this too deeply, but I feel like it's almost disrespectful to leave compliments underneath someone's post when you genuinely don't stand by what you said. Personally, if I leave a comment under someone's video, it's because I thought the editing was good, or their storytelling was good, or that they shared something that was helpful and valuable. I don't like the idea of me commenting underneath someone's post so that they can then go to my profile and comment under one of my posts, or me commenting on someone's post just so my algorithm understands, hey, show my video to people who watches their video too. It just comes off as so ingenuine, and I don't like that. Another thing that makes me feel like we start training ourselves to be selfish is that we'll go on Instagram, and instead of appreciating other people's creativity, we start looking for posts that we deem as aesthetic or viral worthy, and we'll save them so that we can then recreate them, so that we can then post a very similar image or a very similar video to get the response that they got, or an even greater one. I'm pretty sure that's plagiarism, but we've gotten so accustomed to recreating other people's posts and just passing it off as inspiration that we don't even see it as that anymore. And the last thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way is, you know, those question box you see people post on their stories for people to do Q&As and stuff. I think they're great tools, especially for content creators who always get the same question underneath their content. For example, if you're a photographer and people keep asking you what camera you have, it's nice to just post something on your story where someone can ask you that frequently asked question, and you can just answer it, and then hundreds of people can see it, and then you don't have to message everyone individually. I think that is very useful. But a lot of the time, I see people use these question boxes expecting people to send in questions about themselves so that they're then able to talk about themselves. And that makes me feel like we're wiring our brains to think that we're more important in other people's minds. It makes us feel like we're the main character in everyone else's story. And that's not the case. By human nature, we are all selfish. We all prioritize ourselves the most. We are all most interested in ourselves. And if you're not most interested in yourself, I'd be a little concerned for you. Social media gives us this perception that people are somehow always thinking about us, that people are constantly waiting to hear what we have to say, that people are just dying to know what our favorite color is, or what our favorite clothing item is, or what our favorite song is. You get what I'm saying, right? Anyways, pessimistic talk ends now. Since deleting social media, I also realized that we've stopped thinking for ourselves and questioning what's true. For example, right before I deleted social media, there was this content creator who has a lot of followers, okay? And she posted this video where she was trying to normalize spending a day on your phone and watching Netflix when you're having an off day. Now listen, I have had off days and I have spent them like that in the past. But if my current self could talk to my younger self, she would say, hey, that's not actually going to help you feel better. Why don't you try going outside and getting fresh air? I'm not saying go for a run, go run a marathon. No, I'm just saying go walk to the end of the block and come back. Oh, remember that recipe that you've been wanting to try, the one you saw on Pinterest? Yeah, this would be a really good time to try that. All week you've been dying to take a bath. Why don't you use this time now to take a bath? I just feel like our job as content creators is to leave a positive impact on other people's lives. And when I see these big content creators posting content like that, where they're trying to validate their bad habits, I think it influences people in the wrong way. I was reading the comments and so many people were saying, oh, this made me feel so much better about myself and things like that. And it honestly made me sad because with anxiety and depression being at an all-time high, I don't feel like we as content creators should be encouraging other people to isolate themselves and engage in habits that promote short-term gratification. I understand how it can get really tiring going on Instagram and seeing people being hyper productive and coming off as perfect and always being disciplined and focused. So it's refreshing to see authentic content. I just think that a line gets crossed when you have a really big following and then you're promoting bad habits that you engage in so that other people can validate what you're doing so you don't feel bad about it. We all have our own problems. We all have our own burdens. And I find it surreal that we go on social media to follow other people who then talk about their problems and their burdens. Is it liberating or is it trauma dumping? Speaking of trauma dumping, why has that become so normalized on social media? I just opened the app and someone is sharing about how their dog died in such a tragic way, or how their husband was abusive and then left them and wanted to steal the kids. Listen, Sarah, I just started my day. I feel bad for you, but now I don't feel very good because I just started off my day on such a negative foot. But also, Cass, listen, I didn't have to start off my day that way. I didn't have to go on social media, but c'est la vie. I did. And now with this Instagram detox that I'm on, I hope to get into the habit of starting my day off on the right foot. Okay, so within the last 4 days since I've deleted social media, I realized how we all don't realize how addicted we are to social media. I know it's really hard to admit when you have an addiction. Oh my goodness, if you deleted Instagram too, you would see how attached you are to these apps. I cannot tell you the amounts of times where I'll unconsciously or subconsciously unlock my phone for absolutely no reason. I'll be eating food, or I'll turn on my water kettle and I'll be waiting for my water to boil and I'll just turn on my phone, or I'm getting ready and I just randomly turn on my phone, or I'm literally about to put on my jacket and then I just turn on my phone and I don't realize that I'm doing it. I'm turning on my phone and my thumb is just naturally going to the spot where my social media apps used to be, and my mind is looking for that hit of dopamine. My mind doesn't know how to be bored anymore and to not think and to not be stimulated. I'm literally craving distractions, and it's so scary. This might freak you out. Okay, it freaked me out, but the first day I started my Instagram detox, my thumb did the thing, it couldn't find it, and so I ended up checking my email for absolutely no reason. I check my email and I get this email from a company who's marketing whatever product, and me from a few days ago before I deleted Instagram would have immediately deleted the email and just forgotten about it. No. Cass on social media withdrawal symptoms opened the email and scrolled all the way down to the bottom, and guess what I found? I found the social media icons that are on the bottom of the email, and I clicked on the Instagram one. So it brings me to Safari on the Instagram browser, and Instagram doesn't let you scroll on browser unless you're logged in. So I hyperfixated on the email. I was like, oh, this can give me that hit of dopamine I've been looking for. Again, subconsciously, I don't realize that I'm doing this. And I go down to the bottom of the email again, but this time I click on the YouTube icon and it brings me back to Safari on the YouTube browser, and you can use YouTube without the YouTube app. So what do? I go to the home feed and I'm brought to the YouTube Shorts tab. And before I even realize it, I've scrolled on YouTube Shorts for an hour. My brain figured out a way. It reminded me of when they put rats in a maze and they're able to figure out their way to the exit. I felt like my mind was doing that without me even really having to think about it. It wanted social media. It wanted that hit of dopamine at my fingertips, and it figured it out. It found it and it got it. What did I have to do? I went to my iPhone settings and I blocked the YouTube browser. And I've tried a few times already subconsciously to go on YouTube. And thankfully, my phone blocks it and it doesn't let me do that. I found that to be absolutely frightening. Another thing I realized while being off of social media is that social media makes you afraid to try new things. I know that sounds kind of crazy when there's pages on Instagram, like food pages, and people are like, oh, I really want to go try that restaurant, or, oh, look at this new fashion trend, I really want to try it. I'm talking more about creative things. Like if I wanted to start pottery, I would feel a little bit intimidated to go to a pottery class when I've seen so many reels of people going to a pottery class and it's their first class and they create the most beautiful vase. I start feeling like, will I be able to do that during my first class? Or if I want to try painting, I see people creating masterpieces and I start to feel incapable of creating something beautiful that I've never done before. I kind of felt that way with crocheting. I've been crocheting for a bit, and maybe one day I'll wear a top that I've crocheted. It's just so hot right now. Anyways, but I was getting frustrated and I kind of wanted to give up on crocheting because every time I made something, it just didn't look like how it looked in the tutorial or from what I saw with all of these reels. And then I had to remind myself, hey, you didn't see the hundreds of projects they worked on before they became really good and started creating things like these. You didn't see that. You're comparing yourself as a beginner to someone who has already gone through the fundamentals, the learning process of how to crochet. Social media makes us be really hard on ourselves because we expect perfection from ourselves so quickly when that's not realistic. Now, while we're talking about creativity, I want to mention how social media makes us less creative. We're constantly comparing ourselves to other creators, seeing what's trending, looking at posts to recreate. We forget why we even started creating in the first place, and it becomes harder to come up with original ideas because every time you recreate someone else's post, you're telling yourself, hey, my idea wasn't good enough, so I had to take someone else's idea. This is actually the biggest reason as to why I deleted Instagram this week. I've been writing a book and I'm so proud of it, and I'm over 100 pages in already, and I truly believe it's going to be done very, very soon, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. But I had been super focused on writing the chapters at the end of 2023 from October to December. But when 2024 came and I was just feeling so flustered with posting daily and, the low engagement and all that I had mentioned beforehand, I started writing in ways that were catered towards the Instagram algorithm rather than what would be most valuable and well suited for my book. It was at the end of February where I was like, what is going on? It is so hard to come up with these impactful chapters when I'm constantly trying to create the most shareable and thought-provoking sentences to put on top of my reels so that they go viral? So since deleting Instagram, within the last 4 days, I've been able to get back into my flow state. It took a while. I had to force myself to be bored and to just sit with my ideas until they started coming together in a way that was cohesive and sounded beautiful and impactful. After an hour or so of that, I got into a flow state, and I've been writing super consistently for the last 4 days, and I'm super proud of every single chapter that I've written since 4 days ago. So let's talk about some positive things now, okay? I feel like I've sounded a little bit pessimistic. I'm so sorry, but I just want to tell you about how much time you get back when you delete Instagram. The last 4 days have felt like 8 days. That excuse of, I just don't have time has completely vanished. I have no excuse to say that anymore. The truth is, a week ago, I had time to do all the things that I wanted to do. I just didn't have the time to do that while also procrastinating and scrolling on Instagram. In the past, I would finish my work by 6 or 7 p.m. I kid you not. I finish all of my work by 3 p.m. And that's me being like, wait, I can still do more stuff. A week ago, I used to crave being able to go for a 1-hour walk in the evening. And sometimes I wouldn't even be able to do that because it would get too dark. And I don't like walking in the dark by myself in the neighborhood. I just don't feel safe. But in the last 4 days, I've been able to go for a 1-hour walk in the morning and a 1-hour walk at night. I've had time to engage in my hobbies. I was so excited the first day because I had finished my work just before 3, and it was such a beautiful day. And I was so excited to just sit by the window and read. I have so many books that I have in my to-be-read shelf, and I'm just looking forward to getting those extra hours to just read them because I've started a list of more books I want to get. I told myself I wasn't going to go get them until I finished my to-be-read books on my shelf. So I'm quite pleased with all the extra time that I have. I've also been crocheting a bunch. I've been trying to make this blanket for my friend. And this is so off topic, but I don't think I'm going to give it to her anymore because I overestimated my crochet skills. I'm still a beginner. That's okay. The handmade gifts, maybe for Christmas. I still have time. And the last positive is that my goal a week ago was to put out 1 YouTube video a week. And even that felt overwhelming. But now I'm like, I have no problem posting 2 YouTube videos a week. So expect more content from me. So on that note, I hope this video inspired you to either reconsider your relationship with Instagram or to delete it. At this point, I don't feel any want to go back on Instagram. I do not miss it at all. I'm very content writing this book and creating YouTube videos for you guys, and also working on a podcast that will be out in May. I just feel 100 times more connected to myself and the people around me, and I feel like I'm a more pleasant individual compared to who I was just a few days ago. If you could relate to any of the things that I said, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. This was so much fun, and I can't wait to talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!